again, I ask, what is the status of the Nations League? Because is it another Euros or is it another, I don't know. Because I remember when the Nations League came about in 2019 and they said, oh, it's to remove dead rubber friendlies or something like that. But then you come up with the Nations League and you make things more competitive, and a lot of players have complained about this. I think Courtois, De Bruyne, more high-profile players, like they don't know what the Nations League really is about. But then I noticed something that Courtois and De Bruyne, Belgian player, De Bruyne especially, like Belgium was in this quarterfinals of Nations League against Ukraine. They were trailing 2-0 down from the first leg days ago, and then days later played in Belgium and they won, and they took it really serious and they won the 3-0. They lost the other game 3-1. So I think players don't think of the Nations League seriously, but just like any other thing or tournament, or when it gets to the latter stages, you're like, well, we are here already, we might as well win, right? So the Nations League has brought about a very competitive thing that I don't think is good for the game, especially because we are in the era of, this is the season where so many high profile players and managers have come up to talk about the fixture congestion and how there's so many games being added to the calendar. And then I now found out that you have a quarterfinals in Nations League where you still put in the rules that the matches have to go to extra time. Why, for God's sake, why do matches in the Nations League go to extra time? It is the Nations League. It is a small, even if it's a tournament, it's a small tournament. It should be 90 minutes straight to penalties. Why are you playing 120 minutes in the nation? And then, interestingly, 3 of those quarterfinal games went to the extra time. Spain versus Netherlands, extra time. There was a game I watched, France versus Croatia, extra time. I don't know what we're doing. Portugal versus Denmark, extra time. And these players will go back to their clubs, and then you expect them to play on Friday, Saturday. Like, I think when I have, concerning this fixture congestion thing, I've spoken about it a couple of times. I've expressed my opinion on this in an article that I wrote. I've expressed my opinion on this on a podcast. I have always been on the side of the players in this thing. For the record, I've never not been on, and I don't care what people think about the money that footballers earn. This is absolute nonsense. Like, I don't know what we're doing. We can't. These people are not robots. I said it on a podcast that this thing is simple for me. Football is a sport, yeah, but without the players, there is no game. Without the players, there is no game. You can play football without the fans. Yeah, the fans are important. They get you revenue and all. But there is no game without the core of football are the players. Even without a ball, you can still play football. Because people have used so many other objects to play football. If you really look into it, the most important part of the game are the players. You can use another object to play football. It is still football. You play with your foot, and you still want to score a goal. The objective is still the same, just like you're not using an actual ball or an actual leather ball. But if you look into it, the players are the most important component of the sport. Not even the ball, not even the stadiums. You can play a game of football anywhere, in your house, in your living room, in your compound, not even the stadium, not even the fans, nothing, not even the administrators. So if we don't look after the players, I'm not sure the future of where football is heading to. Also, it is no coincidence that there's been so many injuries in the past 1 year. So I think this seeing the Nations League go to extra time was, interestingly though, I as a football fan enjoyed watching. Me as a football fan, I enjoy watching any game that goes to extra time, because I feel like, I'm getting my money's worth for TV subscription. That's just how I see it. But then again, as a human being and looking at it more objectively, this is you are killing the sport by making something that's, you call something a tournament, but then they are not playing it at a stretch. They're playing it over the course of 2 years. and it's like you're spreading and then they play only every international break. That's not a tournament. Even if you want to call it a tournament, it just can't feel like a tournament. So there is no reason why that match should go to extra time. But anyways, semi-final, I think the Nations League semi-final are going to be played in, semi-final and final will be played in, I think, a neutral ground or in one country, I think. I think that was how the last one. But I was really concerned with that whole charade. I don't know if that's the right word, but I'm just agitated right now, so I might be speaking jargons. But like, it was not supposed to be. The games were interesting. Don't get me wrong. Like, it was a good watch. Portugal, Denmark, brilliant game. France, Croatia, brilliant game. France coming back from 2 goals down. Portugal coming back from 1 goal down. In fact, I think all the teams that won all overturned. Belgium also coming back from 2 goals. So it was the 3 games were brilliant games of football to watch. But I don't want to see extra time in the Nations League. Like, UEFA, I don't know what the administrators are doing, because they keep on creating more and more and more and more. You brought about the Nations League, you brought about the Club World Cup. I saw something here that some players might play the Champions League final end of May. They play international break, because there's an international break in June, I think early June. Go for international duty early June. Then go for the Club World Cup mid-June, all the way in the US. So in the space of 1 month, some players are going to play 3 different tournaments entirely in the space of 1 month. And they're going to be traveling and then come back again in August to start it all over again in the new season. I don't know what we're doing. I think the administrators are really, and I know, well, all of this is about money, by the way. That's another thing. Let us not mince words. All of this is about money, purely about money. And for me, it's sad, but I think somebody said something on that same podcast I mentioned. Somebody else that was on that podcast said something that football fans have this idea of a world of utopia where they think that everything should work for them. They say, oh, okay, let me put it into context as a Nigerian sports fan based in Nigeria currently. When you pay your subscription money for DSTV or whatever and the likes, they say, oh, subscription fees keep going up every quarter. So footballers should better play because I'm working out to pay the subscription fees. And it's like, okay, well, you are right. But do you also want to see footballers dropping like flies? Like, I don't know what is because they say don't speak, they earn this much money, they make this much money. And it's like also the dangerous thing about saying that footballers should not speak because they make this money is because you seem to forget that the footballers you say are making this much money are not all of them. These are the footballers at the top of their game. The average footballer does not make the money you think they make. Anyways, the average footballer doesn't play this much games, by the way. So I can at least see some logic in the point of fans that say that. But me, and I'm not here to convince anybody, I'm just here to state my opinion. I've always been on the side of the players in this conversation or argument or whatever, and I'll always be on the side of players, for the record. In case you quote me in 5 years' time, I will still be on the side of the players. I am not on the side of the fans. Absolutely not. Because every year, imagine some years ago there was a conversation about making the World Cup every 2 years. Imagine they made the World Cup every 2 years. There's Euros, there's World Cup, there's AFCON, there's Club World Cup, there's Nations League, there's so many other things. I won't be surprised one day they will start Nations League in Africa. I won't be surprised, really. There's Nations League, there's Club World Cup, then there's still qualifiers, and I don't know. Now this Champions League new format, every team had to play at least 8 games in the group phase, then still play an additional 2-legged game for the ones that didn't qualify automatically as top 8 teams. That was 10 games compared to 6 before. That's why the calendar is so congested. I'm a Barca fan here. Barca have to play Osasuna on Thursday because there's nowhere else to put that game on because sadly our team doctor passed away just some minutes before we're supposed to play Osasuna, I think some weeks ago. So that game had to be postponed. Barca has to play that game on Thursday, just 2 days after some of our players all the way in South America just played. So they are going to miss that game. They have to play that game on Thursday and then play again on Sunday, because there is nowhere else to put. The calendar is so packed. So this thing is what really puts me off about the Nations League. So much so that I'm talking about it more than the actual football. Because when I saw it, I was like, surely this should not be happening. Who approved that the Nations League should go to extra time? Like, I don't know. I don't know. We need to protect players, but I don't think administrators care about that. Obviously, they care about filling up their pockets. That's the way of the world. That's what the sport is, a business. So I think I'll just leave that out before I keep on ranting, because if you've watched me already, you will know that I am always on the side of the players in this matter. So that's that about that.